Support for NPR comes from Cancer Treatment Centers of America, where treatment options include targeted therapies guided by genomic testing and immunotherapies that use the body's immune system to help fight the cancer. More at cancercenter.com.
Hey, thanks for listening to Car Talk. Now, if you're looking for stuff to listen to that doesn't insult your intelligence, there's a great app for your phone. It's NPR One. It's got hand-curated artisanal suggestions to help you find the best from public radio and beyond, with podcasts and news. NPR One is ready when you are. That's NPR ONE on your talk from National Public Radio with us, Click and Clack, the Tappert Brothers, and we're broadcasting this week from the Fitness Center here at Car Talk Plaza.
Here it is, folks. For my birthday, I'm reading this, and it's from someone named Patty McGuire from Oakland, California. For my birthday this year, my wife purchased me a week of private lessons at the local health club. Though still in great shape from when I was on the varsity chess team in high school, I decided it was a good idea to go ahead and try it. I called and made reservations with someone named Tanya, who said she's a 26-year-old aerobics instructor and athletic clothing model.
Sounds great already.
My wife seemed very pleased with how enthusiastic I was to get started. They suggested I keep an exercise diary to chart my progress. Day 1. Started the morning at 6:30 a.m. Tough to get up, but worth it when I arrived at the health club and Tanya was waiting for me. She's something of a goddess with blonde hair and a dazzling white smile. She showed me the machines, took my pulse after 5 minutes on the treadmill. She seemed a little alarmed that it was so high, but I think just standing next to her in that outfit of hers added about 10 points. I enjoyed watching the aerobics class. Tanya was very encouraging as I did my sit-ups, though my gut was already aching a little from holding it in the whole time I was talking to her. This is going to be great. This is like the seafood diet. Day 2. It took a whole pot of coffee to get me out of the door, but I made it. Tanya had me lie on my back and pushed this heavy iron bar up into the air. Then she put weights on it, for God's sakes. My legs were a little wobbly on the treadmill, but I made it the full mile. Her smile made it all worthwhile. Day 3. It's deteriorating. The only way I could brush my teeth was by laying the toothbrush on the counter and moving my mouth back and forth over it. I'm sure I've developed a hernia in both pectorals. Driving was okay as long as I didn't try to steer. I parked on top of a Volkswagen. Tanya was a little impatient with me and said my screaming was bothering the other club members. Day 4. Tanya was waiting for me with her vampire teeth in full snarl. I can't help it if I was half an hour late. It took me that long just to tie my shoes. She wanted me to lift dumbbells. Not a chance, Tanya. The word dumb must be in here for a reason. I hid in the men's room until she sent Lars to get me. As punishment, she made me try the rowing machine. It sank. Day 5. I hate Tanya more than any human being on the planet. If there was any part of my body not in extreme pain, I would hit her with it. Day 6. I got Tanya's message on my answering machine wondering where I am. I lacked the strength to use the TV remote, so I watched 11 straight hours of the Weather Channel. Day 7. Well, that's the week. Thank God it's over. Maybe next time my wife will give me something a little more fun, like a gift certificate for a root canal. I hate Tanya more than any human being. It all starts out, you're just like the diet. One Oreo cookie, the rest of the bag. Oh, well.
Graduated to the cheesecake eaten right from the freezer. I had a similar experience.
Yes, just recently.
Only it was one day. My wife decided that it would be a great idea if I went to the gym with her. My wife goes.
She goes to the gym every day.
She goes like
9 to 10 hours.
4 days a week. I don't know what she does there, and so she says to me, "Well, you'll do my workout." She figures I'm a guy.
Sure.
I work at the shop all week, right? Hefting transmissions and the like. She almost killed me. And my pride kept me from saying uncle.
Well, that's what happens. I mean, can you let your wife lift more weight than you?
Well, we were sitting.
No.
She shows me how to use all these machines. I sit there, and she says, "Okay, you're going to do 15 curls." So I do. She does 15 and shows me how they're done, and I remember roughly. So I do 15, and then I get off the machine. She gets on, but before she gets on, she adds weights to the thing. Oh. She does another 15. Oh, so I mean, and effortlessly. So being the guy, I do 15.
How'd you feel when you got to 12?
I'm dying now. And then she does another set of 15 with even more weight.
Amazing.
My body, the whole body, I felt like, if you had been run over by a truck, I felt like that for 5 days.
I remember you groaning.
I used 2 tubes of Bengay. I was rubbing it on my eyes. My eyes even hurt.
Did your hair hurt?
Everything. I never ever went back, and I'll never go again. It's barbaric. God. Anyway, if you want to talk to us about your car or anything else, our number is 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Sheila in Alexandria, Virginia.
Hi, Sheila. What's up?
Well, I have a Nissan Maxima. Has a little over 88,000 miles on it, and it's been just running fine until about 4 or 5 weeks ago when I noticed a very strange odor. And it...
My brother visiting? Oh, I'm sorry.
Had a strange odor outside the car, not inside.
Oh.
And when I would get through driving it, I would get out of the car, and as I went to take something out of the back seat or out of the trunk, I would notice the odor. And I drove it for a couple of weeks thinking, it would go away, and it didn't, and it stayed very strong. I thought it smelled like...
rotten eggs.
The odor you smell in at a dry cleaning store.
Oh.
Or like when someone's been ironing clothes.
Oh.
Had a slight electrical smell to it.
Ah, that smell.
I thought it smelled like that. My husband thought it smelled like a toaster oven. But,
okay, toaster oven.
Wait a minute.
With food in or out?
We got dry cleaner.
Well, I figured either I was getting my suits pressed or I was going to have my bagel toasted.
Toaster oven.
Okay.
Okay.
So the smell has been there for a couple of weeks?
I don't know. It's been there about 4 to 5 weeks.
No kidding.
4 to 5
Has it changed at all? Is it abated?
In the last week or so, I didn't drive the car for a week while I was gone. And when I came back, the smell was diminished, but it's still there. All the gauges are normal inside. I even got up under the hood and smelled everything, and the car smells fine under
the hood. The neighbors must have thought you were weird. There she is. She's smelling his car.
For the engine again.
Well, when I was doing that in the parking garage, 2 of my staff showed up. All 3 of us were out there smelling the car underneath, in the back, under the muffler.
But
that's what dogs do.
You said you thought the smell was coming from the back of the car?
Well, we eliminated the front. We walked around. I even opened the trunk to see if maybe there was something inside the trunk, like a wire to the light or tail light.
So it smells like plastic burning.
It has an electrical slight odor to it.
Well, I don't know electrons had an odor, but if you...
I call it I smell like when you're ironing clothes. Maybe you guys don't iron clothes.
Yeah.
We don't iron clothes.
Is it when you burn a cotton shirt or when you burn a wool shirt?
Rayon. Is it rayon?
It could be a synthetic smell.
Yeah, synthetic rayon. I haven't burned any rayon shirts because I don't iron my rayon shirts.
You just send them to the dry cleaner, right?
Yes.
Yeah. At first I thought it didn't make any difference, but I notice now the short trips don't have that odor, but the longer trips do.
Yes, when the exhaust system gets heated up.
Well, so I had the muffler replaced just about the same time. However, it is not on the right side of the car where the muffler is. All 3 of us who got up under smelling the car, felt like it was coming from the left side.
Well,
did it happen immediately after you had the muffler installed?
I really can't place when I started smelling the odor.
But within days of that?
It was right around the time when the muffler...
But you didn't have the muffler replaced by the Nissan dealer?
No. It was replaced by a very large muffler dealership.
Like Midas?
Midas or Sears?
Midas.
Midas.
Okay. Here's what I think.
Yeah, doctor.
Here's what I think.
Go ahead. I had 6 ideas as she was describing this.
I know, but
I had 6 ideas, and I had to, as she gave more and more information, I had to drop every one of them.
You know why? Because they all stink like her car.
And they all came down to the one you got. Okay. I got the same one.
When they replaced the exhaust system, they didn't put the original equipment stuff on. They put something of different design. Mm-hmm. The exhaust system they put on, and they put on more than the muffler, perhaps. They
I would guess they put on everything behind the catalytic converter.
Right. One of my staff persons thought that maybe that was a catalytic converter I smelled, but I didn't pay that.
No, what you're smelling is your rug burning.
What burning?
Your rug.
My rug?
Because what's happening
How do you know she wears a rug?
What's happening is the exhaust system is either too close to the floor or it doesn't have the requisite heat shielding on it. And the heat from the exhaust system is going through the floor and it's melting the carpet. If you pull up that whole carpet in the back seat or in the trunk, you will find some place where it is singed.
Gee, that is so good and so
insightful.
wrong.
No, it isn't wrong. It's exactly right, and I know because I've done it.
Well, I mean, that could be, but wouldn't the smell then be coming from the inside of the car?
I don't smell it inside.
Sheila doesn't smell it on the inside of the car. Work on that one, piston puss.
It could be that it isn't burning the carpet, but it's just burning the rust proofing and all the other undercoating that's on the underside of the car.
Yeah, that's
it could be that.
That is what it's doing. First of all,
it hasn't worked its way through the carpet yet, then.
It hasn't worked its way through the carpet.
A new exhaust system will smell funny anyway.
Well, how long, though?
No, 2 days.
For 2 days.
Okay.
So if you've had it for more than a couple of days, then something else is wrong. And what's probably wrong is this.
This harebrained thing.
This harebrained idea of the heat shields.
It isn't harebrained. This is what it is.
Yeah.
And then if you have this put up on the lift, you may even see what's going on.
So you must go back to Mr. Midas.
No, don't go to them. Go to someone else who'll tell you this is what's happening, and then you can go back to Midas and you can ask them to put on the original equipment stuff. Or solve the problem in whatever manner they'd seen.
Yeah, the best thing to do is go to the dealer.
Necessary.
Have the dealer look at it and tell you what pieces are missing.
Good luck, Sheila.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for your call.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Ross in Seattle.
Hi,
Ross.
What's up?
Well, I am wondering about the effect of car color on bird excretory behavior.
Oh,
Because
many a doctoral dissertation has been written on this subject.
Yes, and I've been conducting an involuntary controlled experiment because I have had 2 cars that were identical except for color. In '94, I bought an Acura GSR 4-door, which is a wonderful car, and I really loved it. And then, tragically, it was an accident and was totaled, and it was dark green.
Yeah.
And I drove it, parked at home, it's parked in the garage. At work, it's parked on the street. And I drove it in the same places, parked it in the same places as the one I have now. When the first one was wrecked, I bought a white was the only one they had, and I took a white.
Oh, kiss of death.
And this white car, has had more bird dew on it than all of the cars I've ever owned in my whole life. It's just a bird dew magnet, and I can't figure it out. I mean, from the air, these 2 cars look the same in terms of their outline, except one was green and one was white.
Yeah.
This is the first white car I've ever owned.
No, one certainly is more of a beacon.
Sure.
I mean, not that the birds aim necessarily, but who knows what goes through a bird's little pea brain.
I've wondered if there's some sort of infrared, bullseye that only birds can see. Or something.
Yeah, right on the roof of the car.
Yeah.
Well, how good is their aim? I mean, have you ever seen? First of all, have you ever seen a bird in the act?
No, I haven't been able to catch it.
No one ever has.
No one ever
and
has.
From what height do they release their cargo?
Yeah, I mean,
Or
can they do it?
cargo.
Can they do it at any height, for example?
And can they do it when they're under power, or must they coast? These are important questions.
Well, I even have a car cover for this car that's light green, and they in the summer, which lasts about a week and a half here in Seattle, I put the car cover on it, and they don't poop on that.
They don't
because it's light green.
Well, I mean, I have no idea. I find it hard to believe that they're actually thinking about it when they do it. I mean, you're ascribing to them some kind of, determination. They're looking down and saying, there he is. I'm going to go down and poop all over his car.
Well, the only explanation, I mean, the 2 cars are identical except for...
No, I agree.
It's
it's certainly a mystery. But it certainly would seem as though that what they're doing is almost involuntary. I don't think they're thinking about it.
You would think so. Without close examination, you would think that it's involuntary.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure, and I think we're going to need help from some of our listeners to find this important information.
I even logged on to your website and didn't find any information on...
Well, post a
What'd
note.
you use for a keyword? Poop? You look up the keyword poop and you'll find something.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of our columns probably.
And a picture of my brother. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I would like people to let us know, either by writing to us via email, snail mail, or going on cartalk.com, and we'll try to have a box, a booth set up just for this issue. This is this is one of the mysteries of the decade.
Right.
Right. This
That's
is a
what I
burning issue. This is almost as important as jock itch.
It is.
Yeah.
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 And the heartbreak of psoriasis. Thanks, Ross.
You're welcome.
We'll look into it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. He's right. Like, isn't it interesting how people notice stuff? I mean, there's so much going on. It's impossible to have any idea what's
And I don't
going
think
on.
you'd notice more bird poop on a white car than, say, a green car. I think you'd notice it on any car.
I think you'd probably notice it more on the green car.
Yeah, because it's predominantly what?
It's predominantly
white.
Oh, we know.
Well, it depends what kind of birds.
There have been doctoral
and what
dissertations.
their diet is.
What their diet is, exactly.
Hey, Tommy, it's time for your weekly puzzler hints. Are you ready?
Ready and willing, sir.
Okay, here's the first one. Some lowlife accosts you on the street and says, "Hey, pal, your brother's puzzlers are bogus." So you haul off and blank him.
Oh, high five. Okay.
No, you'll clock him, man. Where's your loyalty?
Clock them all. Okay.
Here's your second hint. A few years back, a Hollywood agent offered us a part in a big show, but we got fired because you kept forgetting your blank.
I remember this. It was my half of the horse suit.
That's it. No, your lines, man.
Oh, lines.
The puzzler was about
clocks
drawing
and lines.
lines on a clock face, and we'll be back with the details in just a minute.
Well, there ain't no picket fences, but there ain't no grass to mow. And if you don't like the neighbor, well, there's another one down the road. From my kitchen window, we've seen most every state. It may not be for everyone, but for us there ain't no place like home, sweet home, sweet home, sweet highway. Truck stops, billboards, east, west, south, north, green grass, blue skies, nighttime, city lights, Carolina, California, got to love showbiz. Now I know why they say home is where the heart is.
And even though the NPR IT guy pours a Mountain Dew onto each of our keyboards whenever he hears us say it, this is NPR.
Hi, we're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're here to talk about cars, car repair, and, of course, the answer to last week's challenging little puzzler, which my brother is still working on.
I am. I'm trying to find a shortcut. I mean, obviously, if trial and error. Go ahead. Explain us what the question is.
Well, this is from my series of clock puzzlers.
Yeah.
And here it is. I instructed everyone to take a piece of paper and draw a clock face and put the numbers in, 12, 1, 2, 3, all the way around to 11. And then next, I instructed you to draw 2 straight lines on the face of the clock so that the clock was divided into sections. You can do it. You can have either 3 sections or 4 sections by doing this. If the lines intersect someplace, you will wind up with 4 sections. If they don't intersect, you will wind up with 3 sections. And the puzzle is this. Draw these lines so that the sum of the numbers in each section are equal.
Yeah.
Is that pretty straightforward?
It is pretty straightforward. I've got it.
You've got it.
Well, I didn't put all the numbers on the clock, though. I only put 4 numbers.
4 numbers, really?
I put the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9, and it was simple. How much is 12 and 3?
15.
How much is 9 and 6?
17.
I'm all done.
Well, that might be a good way to approach it.
All I wondered.
Well, as a matter of fact, if you draw the lines so that you start at a point between the 10 and the 11.
Okay, I'm with you. And you go to
and
where?
you connect that to a point between the 2 and the 3.
Gee, I had that much.
That's a line number 1.
And that adds up to 23, 24, 25, 26.
There you go. Now you take a point between the 8 and 9.
Yeah.
And a point between the 4 and 5 and connect those 2 dots.
4 and 5.
And you will wind up with a section that's 8765, which I believe adds up to 26. And 10943, which also adds up to 26. You wind up with 3 sections, each of which is 26.
Is this the only solution to this problem?
Absolutely. I have researched the bejesus out of this. No, see, the problem that I think most people would run into is they would think the lines would have to intersect.
Yeah.
But in fact, by not intersecting them and making 3 sections, you come up with the only solution, I believe.
Okay, you're thinking that's the answer. Well, we know it is an answer, and now all you need is one. I mean, how many answers can one person?
Exactly. So who's our winner?
The winner is Suzanne Howley from Framingham, Massachusetts.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't realize we had any listeners in Massachusetts.
No.
For having her answer selected at random from among all the correct answers that we got, Suzanne will get a $25 gift certificate to the Shameless Commerce Division at CarTalk.com. And with that gift certificate, she can get a set of Car Talk reusable shopping bags.
Hey, these are turning out to be very popular at the supermarkets, at least among people who like to be mocked while they shop.
Yeah, that's me.
Anyway, we'll have a brand new, I have to say, full of intrigue.
Is it the one we discussed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, full of intrigue. Puzzler coming up in the third half
I don't even
of
know what
show.
the puzzler is about, but I just want to hear the
That
words.
one line. So
No, 2 lines.
So sit back, take your shoes off, stay a while. Right now, if you have a question about your car, you can give us a call at 888-CAR-TALK, which is also 888-CAR-YOU-ALL.
No kidding.
Yes, for our southern listeners.
Car you all.
Car you all.
You all.
Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, fellas. This is Ethan calling you from Missoula, Montana.
Hi, Ethan from
Ethan.
Missoula. What's going on, man?
Well, you guys, I have an ethics question dealing with selling my Chevy Blazer. I was driving across the country about 2 years ago, and it was struck by lightning.
Really?
And
Were you in it?
I was. I was going about 70 miles an hour across Iowa at 2 in the morning.
How exciting was it?
It was something else. My hair was standing up for a couple hours.
Did it damage the truck at all?
Well, only electronically. I headed into a dealer for about 2 days in Council Bluffs, and they went through and took out anything electronic and put in brand new stuff. And since then, I haven't had any problems. So my question is, now that I'm selling this truck, is this something that I should be telling prospective buyers? Or I have...
Absolutely. You couldn't have a better selling point than this. Thing's been hit by lightning. First of all, the chances of it being hit again, it's been like pre-disastered.
That's right. What a deal.
Yes, it's already been hit by lightning. That's not going to happen to you.
You could put an ad in any paper and you'd get 500 phone calls. People are looking for cars that are already disastered.
So you don't think that it would scare off potential buyers to say that everything electronic was fried a couple years ago?
No,
So I would advertise that I have all new electronics.
Right. And leave out that little detail.
People say, why do you have all new electronics? Well, every 15 years I always replace everything electronic.
Well, no, then you could use
because the electrons are all worn out.
You could use the mumbling technique. You say, yes, I have replaced the computer and the ignition module and all that. Why did you do that? I was sorry, lightning. Excuse me? I was sorry, lightning.
Well, I feel a lot better about that.
When the thing got hit, did the tires blow too?
The tires remained intact. I don't know if I got hit directly or if it hit the pavement and, then got my axle. But whatever it was, there was a blinding flash, a deafening crash, and then everything went dead and dark.
Did you find yourself naked in an alien spaceship after this?
Yeah, did you?
And what did they do to you?
That won't be disclosed.
But you didn't suffer any kind of physical harm.
His hair was up for 2 days.
No.
You could have been hit by lightning.
I get hit every couple of days.
No, nothing long term, luckily.
Oh, that's good.
So it must have been a mini bolt, because I've heard of people whose cars have been hit where the tires just explode.
Yeah, that I've heard of that too, and I tell you guys, I'm thankful that it worked out the way it did. It could have been a heck of a lot worse.
But I think you have to fess up. I mean, I think it would be a selling point.
All right.
I think people would be honored to own a truck.
Well, you can test it out. Someone comes to see the truck, they drive it around, they say, I love it. And you say, well, you love it. You're going to love it even more when I tell you this. And if they say, oh, thanks very much, and they leave, don't tell the next person.
Right. There you go.
Sounds like a perfect litmus test. does. And hey, just in case you guys are curious, it is covered by insurance when you're struck by lightning. It's under the Act of God clause. So.
Well,
What's insurance?
A good one, I guess.
See, Ethan.
See you guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your call.
Man.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Hi, this is Rachel in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi, Rachel. Your call is important to us. Where are you from?
Phoenix?
Phoenix.
Well, now, yeah.
I know where that is, yeah.
Oh, you're from Phoenix now, but you didn't used to be from Phoenix.
I'm from way, way, way back east.
East. I you know what I catch? Now, you've said nothing, right? And if I guess this, you're going to say the man is a bleeding genius.
Okay.
You know what I catch? Maryland.
Further east.
Further east than Maryland? The Atlantic Ocean.
Further east.
Oh, that kind of
the
further...
Azores.
Oh, that kind of further east.
I'm from Bath in England.
Bath. Oh, now, yes.
No, I don't notice it.
You know, we hardly notice it.
How long have you been here?
Only 5 years, but yeah.
Oh,
I've kind
there
of
it is
assimilated
now.
pretty well.
5.
Oh, you
the
did.
word 5 did it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, England was a big hint.
England was a big hint, too.
That was a huge help. Anyway, what's cooking?
Well, I have a 86 Honda Civic, and about 6 weeks ago, one of the spark plugs blew clear out of the front of the engine.
Oh.
Not good. So when it came out, it threaded the hole, obviously, and it's all smooth in there now. So I guess I have to pull the head and rebore the hole and put a helicoil in, which I tried to do, and I just cannot get the head out. It's rusted in. The car used to live in Indiana and Michigan, and it's rusted. There's grease. It's 110, and I don't have a garage, and it's really brutal out there. So
you're going to do this yourself?
What, you're trying to take the cylinder head off the car?
Yeah. So my question is, can I just take the thing to a welder and have somebody weld a spark plug in the hole? So it's already got like 170. So if I get...
Well, okay.
170K.
Yeah.
First of all, did you, in your effort to get the cylinder head off, you remove the head bolts?
Yes, and I just can't figure out how to do the studs and the down bolts that attach it to the exhaust manifold. I can't get either one out, so I can't bring it forward and I can't bring it up.
But you have loosened. If you took off the valve cover, the very top, and you're looking at all the valves and the camshaft, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you've loosened those bolts that hold the cylinder head to the block.
No, I haven't done those yet.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, you haven't done those yet?
No.
So
I was trying to get the exhaust manifold and the intake manifold loose to start with. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along.
Oh, okay. So you didn't consult a repair manual.
Well, I have been, but.
Yeah, when we take these heads off, we take them off with the manifolds.
Okay.
We leave the manifolds attached. We take the whole cylinder head right off.
Okay.
But you don't have to do that.
Okay.
I think you don't have to have someone weld anything in there. You can have somebody put in the helicoil for you.
Well, she wants to do it herself. But you can do it without taking the head out of the engine.
Did you get loads of shavings down inside the cylinder that'll score it all
Don't
out?
picky.
You worried about that? What we do when we cut threads in cylinder heads is we coat the tap with lithium grease.
Okay.
And it picks up the vast majority of the shavings.
Yeah, you'll get a little in there, but it isn't deadly.
And then we do go ahead.
170,000 miles on it.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, see, my other option is I could just donate it to the dog shelter and get a new car.
Not for this reason. I mean, this is easy.
Okay.
You know what the beauty of this car is? That if you don't succeed, you give it to the dog shelter.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like working on my brother's car.
Okay.
Yeah. Whenever we worked on his car,
It's
it was
low
like,
stress.
How could anything go wrong that you could care about?
That's very true. That's very true. Well, I did try to get some of that thermosteel stuff that you goop on and it's supposed to weld as it gets.
No.
No, it lasted for 5 miles and it blew out again.
No, you need to actually cut mechanical threads in there.
Okay.
And actually, the one we've had the most luck with is this. And I'm not even sure if they still make it, but we have plenty of them on hand. I think KD is the company.
Okay.
Or KND, I don't know. And they make an insert, and they make a special tap that you may not even have to drill a hole for in your case.
Okay.
And you run this tap into the area where the damaged threads were or no longer are, and you tap new threads for this insert, which screws into that hole that you just tapped, and the spark plug screws into it.
Okay.
And then when you go and take the spark plug out, the insert, which you've glued in there with an adhesive,
Yeah.
stays behind, and the glue is not holding it. The glue is merely keeping it from unscrewing.
Okay.
It's making a mechanical connection because it's got threads on it, and those work fabulously. We've had those last hundreds of miles. No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. I mean forever, years and years. But that's what you need, and everything will be fine.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And if
Well,
it
that's
isn't
good to know.
fine, so what?
Yeah, you're right.
The
Yeah,
dog
yeah.
shelter awaits.
Okay.
Don't do this in your driveway. Do it in
No?
a place where you can abandon the car.
Yeah, you're right.
So you can just pack your stuff up, and there you go.
Right, have the plates
Great.
loose. See you, Rachel.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
1-888-CAR-TALK or 1-888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Yes, hello, this is Marty Lefkirk.
Marty.
I'm calling from St. Louis.
St. Louis.
So what's up, Marty?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have an amazing discovery.
Really?
Yes. Now, let me tell you the problem first. We have a 1936 Auburn,
Oh.
straight 8 engine,
Oh.
and for neat car, it's a sedan. It's not the boat tail, but it's pretty cool.
Oh,
And
that just dropped its value by about
By a bunch.
$50,000.
There you go. But it was in a paint shop to get painted, which took a year, but I guess that's not a big surprise.
Yeah, it took me a year to do my car.
Okay. While it was there for a year, it hadn't been started. And when it came time to move this beautiful new painted car, we couldn't get it started for anything. Now, we found the problem was that we couldn't get fuel to get to the cylinders. So it was just sitting dry.
Uh-huh.
And what my father decided he'd try is to put a shop vac on the exhaust pipe. And he sucked the fuel through the motor,
Ooh.
out of the shop vac,
Ooh.
and the car started.
Ooh. And what else happened?
That's it. It worked great.
Oh, well, I'll tell you.
He sucked it through the engine.
That's right.
Many years ago, we had a
Ooh,
puzzler
boy,
where we actually...
dangerous job.
We did a little reenactment of a potential scenario.
Uh-huh.
And it involved Dougie attempting to do what would be called a conscientious tune-up on his car, and the gist of it was that after removing all the spark plugs, he realized that there was a lot of dirt around the spark plug openings, and in fact he took out his shop vac to vacuum up this dirt from all the spark plug openings before he installed the new plugs,
Right.
so that the plugs were out of it, and in doing so. Even though what Dad did here worked,
Uh-huh.
what's incredibly dangerous about this is that it's possible to suck gasoline vapors into the vacuum cleaner.
Into the shop vac, right?
Once they pass through the electric motor, because that's the way vacuum cleaners work.
Right, the
You know, that-
vacuum explodes.
That air goes through where the sparks are around the armature of the motor, and kaboomski.
Wow.
Well, what must have happened is your father must have immediately disconnected the hose when he saw that it was cranking and ready to start.
Well, when it started, it blew the hose off.
How
Even
fortuitous. If it hadn't, something else would have blown.
Of course.
Jeez. Well, that is an interesting little story.
Uh-huh.
And it is wonderful to know that
God was watching you guys.
someone was watching indeed, yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, that was a bad idea, but it worked.
Yeah, you could have accomplished the same thing, I think, by priming the carburetor.
Yeah.
It's an updraft carburetor.
You can still prime those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could spray some carburetor cleaner in there and updraft, or maybe even covering up the carburetor with your hand would have done it.
Uh-huh.
It would have created a little extra suction. One of the jets was probably a little bit plugged. But, yeah, don't do that again.
Okay, we won't.
What is that thing worth?
Oh, my goodness, I don't know.
It's worth a lot.
Yeah, we've had it for a while, and it actually looks better now than it did when we first got it, because it was kind of a frumpy-looking car, and now it's becoming quite classy-looking,
Yeah.
apparently.
Do you drive it?
Oh, sure. It's a real nice car.
Gee, that's good.
So why did it take them a year to paint it?
That's a very good question. I don't know.
Hey, things take time.
Well, because you probably told them there was no hurry.
Of course.
That's the kiss of death.
Right.
Thanks for your call, Marty.
I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, look, after that, we need to take a short break. And while we're gone, my brother and I have to discuss a TV offer I received this week.
TV, really? That would mean more money, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Bigger offices.
Absolutely.
Smarter staff?
Well, duh.
What's the downside?
Well, I think we'd actually lose money in the end.
Lose it? How we would lose money?
Well, they want us to pay for the makeup.
All right, we'll stick with NPR then.
We'll be back with a brand new puzzler and more of your calls in just a minute.
I drive an old Peugeot, but I can't speak French. I carry jumper cables, I carry a wrench. Well, it skips when it's raining, and it stalls when it's dry. And the damn thing blew up on the 4th of July. Whippy-tie-yi-yi, parlez-vous français. Whippy-tie-yi-o, would you fix my Peugeot?
And even though Maliotzis everywhere decide it's time to prune the family tree whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.
Hey, it's Guy Raz here from the TED Radio Hour, and I'm really excited to tell you about another podcast I'm hosting. It's called How I Built This, and it's a show about the most amazing innovators and entrepreneurs and the stories behind the companies and movements they built. You can find it at npr.org/podcasts, on iTunes, or on the NPR One app.
We're back. You're listening to Car Talk with us, Click and Clack, the Tappet Brothers, and we're here to discuss cars, car repair, and the new puzzler. And as I promised, this was full of intrigues.
I have to say, if you're listening at home and you have a tape player, put it on record right now, because these first few
better still, send us $20. We'll send you the whole show.
You the whole show. You're gonna love this.
Well, this came from Tom Klimala from cyberspace.
Yeah.
And that's all we know about him.
It's in Wisconsin.
And you have to set the scene, okay?
Go ahead.
Location, an RAF airfield north of London. Scene, a dimly lit Quonset hut filled with air crews just returned from bombing runs over Germany.
A dimly lit Quonset hut. Can you see it, man?
It gets better.
Dimly lit Quonset hut.
The meeting opens with the chaplain leading the men in prayer for their lost comrades. Yeah. He is followed by the flight operations exec, who begins the debriefing by asking the airmen, from what direction were you attacked by the German fighter planes? Without hesitation or dissent, the reply was, from above and behind.
Back and to the left.
Back and to the left. The FOE, that is the flight operations exec, hastily scribbles the information on the back of top-secret maps, hands it to a junior officer with the instructions, get this information to the departing air crews. It may save their lives.
Wow.
As the officer turns to leave, from the inky shadows, a hand grasps his arm.
The inky shadows of the dimly lit Quonset hut.
And he hears
inky shadows of the dimly. Is this poetry or what? I'm telling you.
This was a nice, short 2-minute puzzler.
Oh, man, I love it.
And my brother has turned it into War and Peace.
I give my right arm to be able to write like that.
Anyway, as the officer turns to leave, from the inky shadows, a hand grasps his arm, and he hears these words, hold that order. The information you're about to give will lose lives rather than save them.
This, of course, comes from the inky. What is it?
The inky shadows.
Inky shadows.
What did the guy in the inky shadow? What did the guy from the inky shadows know that the FOE didn't? And you have all the information.
I don't care. I didn't even hear the question.
A dimly lit Quonset hut. Now, if you think you know the answer, write it on a postcard or on the back of 2 first-class tickets to the Isle of Lanai, Hawaii, along with a 2-week prepaid reservation at the Manele Bay Resort Presidential Suite Preferred. But any oceanfront suite will do. Include the 4-wheel drive volcano exploration tour and send it to Puzzler Tower, Car Talk Plaza, Box 3500, Harvard Square, Cambridge.
Our fair city.
Matt 02238. Or, of course, you can email your answer to us from cartalk.com. But right now, if you have a burning question about your car, give us a call. The number is 888-CAR-TALK. That's 8882-2782-55. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
Yeah, hi. This is Baski calling from Rochester.
You have to spell it for us.
Baski.
Bosky.
Simple.
That's a short form for a really, really long.
Oh, we want the real long
Give
version.
us the real thing.
Okay, it's Bhaskar, Bhaskar.
Oh, Bhaskar.
Yes,
And where did you say you're from?
Rochester, New York.
Okay. So
Okay.
what's up?
But we'll call you Bosky.
Bhaskar is good enough.
All right.
I drive a Subaru all-wheel drive.
Okay.
Actually, this question is regarding my wife's car. She drives a Pontiac Vibe, but I bought the all-wheel drive version of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been teaching her to drive. First of all, I've been driving only for like 6 years now, and I've been teaching her to drive. The summer was a cakewalk. It wasn't that bad at all. Now winter's coming, and I live up in Rochester, and she is in Pennsylvania, and I have to teach her to drive in winter.
On the phone.
No. Oh God, no! I do it on weekends, and
Wait a minute. You're in Rochester.
yeah,
And she's in where, Pennsylvania?
Central State College.
She's studying.
Yeah,
Okay. And you're working in Rochester.
yeah, I'm working in Rochester.
Oh, so you just can't go and live there with her and freeload? That's what I would do.
I wish. One of us, has to do the hard work, so she's doing.
So she's doing it.
doing it.
Right.
Exactly.
So on the weekends you're together and you're trying to teach her.
But I taught her to drive in summer. That was the easy part. You brake and the car brakes. You turn and the car turns. Now in winter, things kind of get a little messy.
You turn and the car goes straight.
Yeah, and I've had my share of accidents or issues with driving on snow.
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy. And I used to drive a Saturn, which kind of turned upside down.
Kind of.
Well, yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's no kind of upside down either.
Well, it was upside. The wheels were pointing up. So
That's good.
That's upside down.
That is upside down.
Boy,
so,
you're lucky.
Yeah, I was lucky.
How fast were you going when you managed to do this?
20.
Really?
Yeah, I hit a little rock, and it kind of made it airborne and turn in the air. And
Wow.
it was not nice.
Yeah.
And my question to you is, how do I train her to drive on snow? I learned it the hard way, as you can see.
And have you learned? What do you do differently now that you didn't do then?
Well, I drive very slow.
There you go.
And, brake much well in advance and slowly. I don't really bang on the brakes or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've got snow tires. That helps, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, snow tires help for sure, but what helps more than anything is not making any rapid or quick changes.
Right.
Don't brake suddenly. Don't try to accelerate suddenly, although the elements usually prevent you from doing that.
Right.
And don't turn. Don't make sudden turns.
Exactly.
And if you follow those simple rules, you can usually avoid most self-inflicted accidents.
Now, I have to train her.
Well, I'll tell you what I've done with my kids.
Okay.
Because those are the only people, those are the only ones who would ever listen to me when it came to driving. Is I would always take them to a mall parking lot.
Okay.
When it was
usually
closed.
when the mall is closed, but it
That's
was a
better.
lot more exciting when the mall was open.
Of course,
But
yeah.
we went there, after hours or before hours in most cases, and we would do everything we could, not to try to crash the car, but to kind of find out its limits. And because most people don't ever know how their car is going to misbehave if they try to swerve or if they try to go too fast or negotiate a turn too fast. And boy, it's really good to know that before you have it happen to you on the road.
Okay. Yeah, it's just that it gets very unforgiving when you drive on snow.
Well, what happens to people, I think, a lot is that they do go slowly.
Right.
And they begin to gain confidence, and then the crazies are on the road, and they're going 3 times the speed that you're going.
Right.
And you begin to think, gee, I'm being overcautious.
Right.
And then you start to drive at 60 like they're driving. I mean, I've been in snowstorms where people have gone by me doing 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, I've seen this.
You have to make her realize that the speed at which you're suggesting she drives is coming from a guy who flipped his car upside down.
I have data, don't I?
You certainly do.
I do
You
have
have
data.
great credentials.
I think so.
Because not many people have had that kind of experience. So tell her you've got credentials. You really know how fast she ought to be going.
And by the way, it ain't easy to flip over a Saturn.
No, it's not.
I know.
And we won't tell anybody that you weren't really going 20 miles an hour because you weren't.
No. Bosky, your secret's safe with us. Us and 4 million other people.
Give me a break.
But tell her to drive carefully and avoid abrupt changes in direction or speed.
I shall give it a shot.
good luck.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 1-888-CAR-TALK. That's 888-227-8255. Hello, you're on Car Talk.
This is Laura Rose in Burlington, Vermont.
Hi, Laura?
Laura Rose is all my first name.
Laura Rose. I love it.
All one word?
It's hyphenated.
Yeah, Laura Rose.
Hyphenated. Hyphenated?
Yes.
A hyphenated first name?
In fact.
Boy, that's unusual, isn't it?
No, not terribly.
Well, name somebody else you know with a hyphenated first name.
Haight Ashbury? I don't know. Burlington, Vermont?
Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's on your mind, Laura Rose?
I have a Toyota pickup.
Yeah.
In the spring, I had about 90,000 miles on my truck, and I was going to do a bunch of preventative maintenance, and I had some friends that recommended that I switch to super unleaded gasoline to kind of keep things running clean.
Yeah.
So I did this, and I've been driving it on super unleaded for the past 6 months. Last week, I decided I wasn't noticing any difference in performance, and I was going to go back to regular unleaded.
Good
move.
I had heard from a couple people that my car might act funny for the first tank. It might not like this switch initially.
Sort of like switching to decaf.
Right.
You might have palpitations or something.
So
that's baloney, but go ahead.
I tend to run my tank down pretty low, and I was down an empty tank, filled it up with regular unleaded gasoline. About a half a mile down the road from the gas station, my truck starts jumping and shaking and bucking like just crazy.
I love it. Don't you?
I do, too.
Don't you love it?
Thank God for all these disasters. Otherwise, we wouldn't get any phone calls.
Isn't this great? Yeah.
Continue.
Now I'm running into the problem that pretty much every time I take my foot off the accelerator, it stalls. And while I'm driving, it continues to jump, shake.
Did you buy this tank of deviant gas?
At a very reputable gas station.
And is it the same gas station from which you have been buying these super unleaded all these months?
No, it is not.
It is not. But very reputable, meaning brand name?
Meaning brand name. And
starting with a T?
And that I have...
An S? An E?
An S. An S.
Ending with a vowel or a consonant?
Ending with a vowel.
Woo.
Ooh.
Soho gas. I know it well.
So everyone tells me, get rid of this tank of gas. Drive it off.
Yeah.
So I spend the next day driving back and forth from Montpelier to Canada.
Excellent.
And then I went to a station that I do go to on a more regular basis.
Starts with an S?
With an M.
An N?
Ned's.
Anyway, I filled up with this wonderful gasoline, super unleaded.
Oh, you went back to super.
Yep. Went back
and I'm
going to
tell you what happened.
Okay.
It does the same thing.
Yeah.
You know why?
Continues bucking and shaking, stalling, everything.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah,
well,
why?
you just told me you knew why.
I didn't say why. I said I knew what.
You knew what? He don't know what. He doesn't know how, where, when, and none of those other things.
Well, I knew what because I knew that switching from super unleaded to regular would have no effect whatsoever on the drivability of the vehicle. And so switching back therefore, should have no effect also.
Okay.
Why did it happen? How should I know that? What do you think I am? Some kind of a genius? Don't answer that.
Well, with 90,000 miles on it, you are susceptible to all kinds of things that could go wrong.
The trouble is that you are most susceptible to suggestibility.
Yes.
This would never have happened had that person told you to expect it to happen. You know, when you switch from super unleaded to regular,
awful things are going to happen.
You should expect that the vehicle is going to have to take a little time to acclimate.
Yes.
And you fell for that.
Had you talked to us first and we had told you that nothing would have happened, one of two things, either nothing would have happened or nothing would have happened.
Well, let me ask you this, because nobody told my truck about this.
What is he talking about? What is he talking about?
No, either nothing would have happened, or when this thing did happen, you wouldn't have done the cause and effect thing. See?
Exactly.
Yes, okay, I'm with you on that.
Now, what's wrong with this thing is you have a bad distributor cap.
Bad distributor cap.
That explains the drop in power. The performance, the stalling, the whole shebang.
And the fact that this happened at the very moment that you filled up with regular gas is, believe it or not, a complete and utter coincidence.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's why when you first described this little scenario, I said, "Isn't it great?" Which is exactly what I meant. Isn't it fantastic that coincidence could have operated in this way?
It is sad and it's tragic, I might add, that we in the auto repair industry get blamed for all these coincidences.
That's right. Of which, when it comes to cars, there are far more of them than in regular aspects of people's lives.
Absolutely.
And so we get blamed.
We get blamed for
all
everything.
the coincidences of the world seem to be heaped upon people's vehicles. There's a doctoral
Your
dissertation.
mother-in-law decides to move in with you? Blame it on your auto mechanic.
Wow.
Yeah, no, you have an ignition problem, and I'm sure you're running on. This must be a 4-cylinder truck.
It is.
You're running on 3 cylinders, and you can drive that thing to the North Pole, and you ain't gonna get it to run on 4 cylinders.
Isn't that something?
So have someone open the hood; it'll be immediately obvious.
I would be surprised if it cost you more than $165.
If it's the distributor cap.
Well, no matter what it is, it's going to cost you $165 if that's what it is. See you, Laura Rose.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
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 Well, it's happened again. You've blown off another perfectly good hour listening to Car Talk. Our esteemed producer is Doug the Subway Fugitive, not a slave to fashion, Bongo Boy Berman. Our associate producers are David the Calves of Belleville Green and Catherine Frau Blucher Fenolosa. Our web lackey is Doug the Old Gray Mare, assisted by Connie Bridgeford. Our engineer is John Cartman Perotti. Our theme music is by David Dog Grisman, and our technical, spiritual, and menu advisor, just back from his tour de force at the Tokyo Tuna, Turbo, Tempura, and Tamari Tourney, is John Bugsy Lawler. Our public opinion pollster is Paul Murky of Murky Research, assisted by statistician Margin Overa. Our customer care representative is Haywood Jabuzoff. Our personal makeup artist is Bud Tugley. Our plastic surgeon is Luke Young. Our director of top secret strategy is Donatello Nobody. Our Greek driving instructor is Adjustis Miros. Our tolerance quality control guy is Nat Sass. I don't think so.
Why not?
All right, well, we'll try.
Yeah, try it.
Our chicken supervisor is Kent Hoyt. Our Russian chauffeur is Beakoff and Dropoff. And our seat cushion tester is Mike Easter. This is how lots of people's careers end. They get thrown off the radio, but I guess it's going to happen to us, too. Our chief counsel from the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe is Hugh Lewis Dewey, known to the Tweed and Meerschaum Pipes.
Production of Dewey, Cheatham & Howe and WBUR in Boston.
And even though the FBI starts a least wanted list whenever they hear us say it, this is NPR.